Coffee and Convo, y'all. Let's get it. Yo, shout out to everybody here in the building. I appreciate you guys for rocking with me. You could be anywhere in the world, but you are here with me. Welcome to the latest installment of Coffee and Convo. I am your host, Graphk Raider. Shout out to everybody here in the comments section. Make sure you wipe them feet, meaning hit them thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. And if you guys get a chance to, man, share the feed, put it on Twitter, Facebook, wherever you can, man. Spread the word about DOX ENT. Shout out to everybody, man. I wanted to do this show because I seen the outcry, the outrage, just everything last night on Twitter, Instagram, all over the place. People were asking me for my opinion on Tom Brady after last night's loss. Man, they got cooked. 31-14. It wasn't even that close, to be real with you. A lot of garbage time yards, a garbage time score, onside kick recovery that kind of got them back in play a little bit at the end, but for 2 seconds. But yeah, man, I want to talk about this because shout out to everybody here in the building. I know everybody, it's funny because everybody, there's a divide with Derek Carr, right? Well, there's also a divide with Tom Brady. And I'm here to shed a little light on how I feel about bringing in Tom Brady. Who's to say? He's 45 years old. I believe he'll be 46 in August. I do not know if he decides on retiring. Last night, for those who are aware or watching, at his presser, he kind of thanked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers media team and, organization. It sounds as though he is moving on from Tampa Bay. To me, it did not sound like a retirement. Maybe he does kind of just quietly go away. Who's to say? I did see a little exchange with his parents at the end of the game walking into the tunnel. Who's to say? I'm not going to read too much into it. But me personally, I don't think that Tom Brady is going to end his career this way. I know he has nothing else to prove. 7 rings. 2 different teams. But the dude is a competitor. There's a reason why he is labeled the GOAT quarterback in the NFL, and I do not see him moving on. I see him coming back for another year or two. I remember previously he did say at the age 45 that he would move on from the game and retire. I think that was like the age where he wanted to get out of here. But he's too much of a competitor, you guys. Yes, Miami's still out there. Retirement is definitely an option. I do not believe the 49ers are, especially with Purdy. Looking how he's looking, Mr. Irrelevant. They still have Lance under contract. You guys, I am not going to lose my shit over one game last night. You guys who say that Tom Brady is washed, I do not agree with that narrative at all. For those who don't know, you guys, the man had to throw the ball 66 times yesterday, you guys. 66 times. Guess how many rushing yards they had combined? 52 rushing yards combined. Brady was 35 for 66, 351 yards, 2 TDs and a pick, a passer rating of 72.2. That Dallas defense was all over them. We all knew that this offensive line was struggling. They had a lot of injuries. I know Ryan Jensen, their all-pro center, came back. But, they got dominated in the trenches yesterday. Period, point blank, the end. They could not run the ball at all. And the game that we watched last night, you guys, this was the Buccaneers all year long. This was the same team all year long. It looked like what an 8-9 team versus a 12-5 team or 13-4, whatever Dallas is. I believe 12-5, right? It looked as though it was a good team against a bad team. Evans missing some wide open passes. Like I said before, Brady getting no love from his run game, his O-line. I mean, at the end of the day, man, if a 45-year-old can still go out there and throw for over 300 yards and have to throw the ball 66 times, that is insane. And I have to say this as well, you guys. Brady threw his first red zone pick yesterday against that stingy Dallas defense since playing in New England. That is the first pick that he had, period, point blank, the end in the red zone since playing for the New England Patriots. That says a lot. Do we have work to be done if we do want to bring in Tom Brady? Yes, we do. First order, bring back Josh Jacobs. If Brady had Josh Jacobs yesterday, he would have took a lot of stress, and gave him a lot of relief, not having to pass the ball that many times. Can you imagine, you guys, a 45-year-old quarterback in the NFL having to throw 66 times? That is insane to me. That is insane. You should never look. A 21-year-old quarterback shouldn't throw that many times. That run game was non-existent. First thing you do, you bring back Josh Jacobs, whether that's the franchise tag, whether you give him a 2, 3, 4-year deal. I don't care. You get it done if Brady wants to become a Raider. That is the first thing. You have to add a tackle. You have to add a guard. I believe our offensive line was ranked over Tampa Bay's offensive line this year. I know there's a lot of different categories, but I'm just going to go overall. Our offensive line was better. We still have to add to it. We still need a true right tackle. I don't know if Jermaine Illuminor is going to be that guy moving forward. To me personally, I want him as a rotational piece. If we do bring him back, we need a true right tackle. We need another guard. Any offensive line that has Alex Barrs starting is not going to be that good. It's just simple and plain. I love Dylan Parham. There's rumors of moving him to center if we move on from Andre James. Andre James had an up and down season, but we still have Colton Miller on the left-hand side. But at the end of the day, there is some things that we can do to improve and make sure that if we do bring Brady in, right, he does not have to go through the shit that he went through yesterday. His defense was totally exposed. His defense was really out of whack all season long. The only reason they pretty much were in the playoffs this year was because they played in a really bad division. I know they had to, you have to play whoever you face, right? But when you get a chance to face the Falcons, the Saints, and the Panthers two times a year, I think it's I think you have an up and up, right? Does Brady want to play against Mahomes twice a season? Does he want to play against Justin Herbert twice a season? They just fired their OC. They'll probably go out and get another offensive coordinator. Who wouldn't want that job in the NFL, working with Herbert and all those weapons that they have? And then Denver. We don't know what they are at this point. They shit the bed this season, but they're going in a new direction with the new head coach. I don't know. But all I have to say is this. I do not believe at all that Tom Brady is washed. You guys, the man had to throw 66 times yesterday. He is 45 years old and he threw more passes than any other quarterback this season. That says a lot about the weapons around him. Period. Shout out to Andrew is Rock. Docs, I just graduated from high school early. Let's fucking go. Shout out to you, man. Congratulations, my brother. Shout out to Andrew is Rock, man. That is a beautiful thing, King. Shout out to my dog. Man, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Everybody in the comment section, let Andrew know, man, we proud of him. Shout out to Jamal. Carr fans just wanted to Brady. Yeah, look, I'm seeing that. I don't want to do this whole Carr versus Brady thing, but I'm definitely seeing that right now on the internet. It's funny because you can't compare the two. You can't compare the two. Even in a down year, Brady had 4,700 yards passing. He's like third or fourth in the NFL in passing yards this season. There's no comparison even at 45. Shout out to my brother Maul, man. Also, shout out to Max, my brother. Tom Brady won't retire. His ego won't let him. I agree. But maybe we can still do something with Brady and draft a rookie quarterback and defense. Definitely. And Max, this is the thing, you guys. You do not go out and get Brady unless you go get a young guy to bring back to learn under him. Whether you bring back Stidham, right? He's a free agent this offseason. I would love to bring back Stiddy. You know what I mean? Or if you go draft a guy like Hendon Hooker in the middle rounds, whoever you get, it doesn't matter. You have to draft a young guy, point blank, period, the end, because we all know that Tom Brady, if he does go to Vegas, he is not the long-term option. He's on his way to 50, you guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's not the long term, but he is, to me, the best stopgap guy moving forward. Because you know why? You can bring him in inexpensive, and then you have a guy that learns under him that's on a rookie contract. People are not understanding, you guys. There is a salary cap in the NFL. You cannot bring Lamar Jackson in for $50 million a year and build that defense. You know what I mean? You're still going to have to fill some pieces on the defensive side of the ball in free agency, whether that's at linebacker, at corner, which I want a veteran corner. You know what I mean? Whether, you know, I don't care who would, to be, just bring somebody in. Marcus Peters is a, you know, he's a free agent this season. Bring him in for around $7-8 million. You know what I mean? Gilmore is. There's a bunch of options out there. But at the end of the day, you don't go pay Lamar Jackson. You don't go pay one of these big-time, big-name quarterbacks, even though I don't believe that Lamar Jackson will hit the market anyway. This is the perfect stopgap quarterback, a dude that'll come in for somewhat $15 to $20 million a season. You go draft a young guy, you let him learn on it. I don't really see the problem with that, you guys. At the end of the day, why not bring in the best quarterback of all time to you know, help provide your organization some direction going in the right, and you know what I mean, going in the right place. You know what I mean? I don't understand what it is. CJ Stroud is out there. For those who don't know, he finally declared for the draft. We are at 7. I do not believe that CJ Stroud will be on the board at all. I think he'll be gone. I don't know if this team wants to move up, but the thing is, we have so many holes on the defensive side of the ball, and you need a tackle, you need a guard. Why give up draft capital to move up? You know what I'm saying? I think you sit at 7. I think Levis will be gone, Stroud will be gone, Young will be gone. At the end of the day, you know, I don't believe in it's really an option to take a quarterback at 7. You know, unless you get a second round pick for Derek Carr. If we do trade him, if he helps us, you know, with this process, and we get a second or third, maybe you can go get one in the middle rounds. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you guys, I seen a 45-year-old that went out there and still was playing football at a high level. Yes, 66 passes. He is not the Tom Brady of old, but I'm telling y'all now, man, there's no way in hell this dude leaves the game like this. There's no way. There's no way in hell. There's no way. I can't see it, man. I can't. I could be wrong. I mean, Tom Brady may be retired in his mind already. You know what I'm saying? But we seen it last year. He retired and then unretired 2 seconds later. So, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, Bobby Souls, you know, the Tuck rule, blase, blah. Remember that day I cried like a bitch. I had tears streaming down my eyes. I remember working at JCPenney outlet at the Florin Mall. Shout out to my hometown, South Sacramento, watching that play and just realizing, wow, we got screwed, right? But being the age that I was back then and the age I am now at 39 years old, I'm mature enough to get over that. You know what I mean? I just want to win. And if Brady can help come in and usher this new wave, this new generation, you know what I mean, this new movement in Vegas, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I just, you know what I mean? The dude had 4,700 yards passing. I don't know how that's washed by any stretch or any means. I don't know what some of y'all are saying. I just don't get it. We're going to have hella primetime games with Brady. There you go. Ticket sales in primetime games equals money, Maul. And that's the reason I think Mark Davis will be all over this. You know what I mean? Because he's into making a good amount of change, and he's also showing his fan base that he wants to win. You know what I mean? And for those who think that Tom Brady is going to look like this under Josh McDaniels, like he did under Byron Leftwich, who just got fired today, you guys. Their offensive coordinator who just got fired. Their offense was terrible all season long. Terrible OC, right? And I was a big fan of Byron Leftwich. I'm going to be real. Last offseason, I was even looking at maybe bringing him in. I'm going to be real with you. But he will not look like this under Josh McDaniels. He will look a lot better. He'll look a lot more sharp. And like I said, if you provide a run game for him, you know, build the trenches up a little bit on the offensive side of the offensive line. I mean, come on, man. Come on. It's an easy call. It is an easy call. If you can bring Tom Brady in, you bring Tom Brady in. But there will be other options. Miami, the Jets, who, you know, the Niners. I don't know where he might want to go. I don't know. But I'm just saying now, Tom Brady is not washed for being 45 years old and going out there and playing against that defense yesterday. And he threw 66 times, you guys, and threw one pick. One pick. I can only imagine if our former quarterback threw the ball 66 times, how much that shit would have got turned over. I'm not trying to make this a Derek Carr show, but I can only imagine if DC went out there and threw the ball 66 times, how many times that ball would have went to the opposing team. Just being real, man. Shout out to everybody here in the building. Let me get my brother Brandon in the building. Don't care about the Tuck rule. If TB can help us move forward by mentoring a young QB, haters want to hate because he is the GOAT for a reason. Talk that shit, Brandon. And to be honest with you, maybe that young guy is Stidham. Maybe he's Stidham. Maybe Brady comes in and helps Stidham. Maybe we re-sign Stidham to a 2-year deal, 1-year deal. I don't know. And Brady helps this guy actually just completely learn this system inside and out. Who's to say? Stidham might be the guy still moving forward with Brady's tutelage. That may take him to the next level. Who's to say? But I still believe we should draft a young guy. In the middle rounds at QB. Shout out to Max. I saw a mock draft from what I believe Raiders Wire that moved up. No, I'm not doing that. Not doing that at all. I'm not moving up. And Bryce Young is a dog. I like Bryce Young, but I'm not using that much draft capital. Max, I don't think a lot of these people really understand how much you have to use to move up to number 1, number 2, or number 2 spot. That is a lot. And there's going to be other teams that's going to be calling Houston for that number 2 spot. So I can only imagine the asking price from them. They need a lot. They just interviewed Sean Payton yesterday. And if he is the head coach, I don't see them passing up on Bryce Young, period. If Sean Payton is the guy over there with the Texans, he will go grab his quarterback of the future and use all draft capital to build around him. Shout out to Max. Shout out to Black Sunday. Do these fans not understand that Brady will come here to basically be a bridge quarterback? That's it, while also helping us contend. It's best situation for us, Wall and Tay, already 30, trying to win already. Black Sunday. Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Man, dog, that's it. That's it, man. That is it. Tom Brady returning to Josh McDaniels, not playing under Byron Leftwich. Damn, over here. Cat got my tongue and shit. I'm telling you, with the run game, you know what I mean? And like I said before, you beef up the O-line a little bit. I think Brady's going to be a dog next year. Shout out to Stan. I agree, Docs. Let's hope and pray that Tom comes to Vegas and gets us over the hump. Factory Outlet, my brother Stan. Appreciate you as always, King, for the donation and the kind words, my brother. Shout out to you, man. Omar, I think that Anthony Richardson will be gone in the first round. I think that that's going to be the quarterback. That's going to be a shocker. I think that he is going to be a top 10 guy. And do not be shocked if Anthony Richardson is a top 5 pick. Do not be shocked if someone moves up to go get Anthony Richardson. He is a true dual threat quarterback that can get it done with his legs and can throw the ball. There's some things he needs to learn at the next level, just like any other guy does. Tom Brady did not come into the league perfect. Patrick Mahomes did not come into the league perfect. They all have, room to grow when they come into the NFL. But I think that Anthony Richardson, there's going to be somebody that's already sold on him that's going to move up, whether they're already there in the top 10 or they're going to move up. I think that Anthony Richardson will be gone. So, in a perfect world, bro, if Richardson is there the second round, you take him. You take him. I just don't see in any world where he will be. You know what I mean? Shout out to my dog, man. Let me see. No, not at all, Norbert. Their O-line was not better than Las Vegas at all. I don't know why people keep saying that. And I hate that a lot of people try to bring up these categories that make no sense. It's like pass blocking, statistic measures, scientifical. Bro, I don't care about none of that. Look at the eye test. Look how many times we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Our O-line was better than Tampa Bay's O-line this year. Point blank, period, the end. I hate all these sneaky little categories that people try to do that, the football nerds, and that's no shade to them. Love them all. You know what I mean? Love them. Sometimes they know shit. I'm like, damn, man, like I got to go do my homework and learn some of this shit. But the small little categories within the categories, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care. Our O-line was better than Tampa's O-line, period. Let me see. AJ, I'm not a big fan of Dugan out of TCU. I know a lot of people do like him. Me personally, I don't. I don't see all the hype. Stetson Bennett, Georgia, for those who don't know, two-time, champion at Georgia. The measurables kind of scare me a little bit, but in today's football, hey, man, I mean, Drew Brees did it. You know what I'm saying? Kyler Murray did it. And I think that Stetson Bennett is a little taller than both, right? I could be off. But I wouldn't be mad if if this regime took him in the middle to late rounds. I wouldn't care if they're sold on him. You know what's funny? Me and Andy was talking about this in the Shieldmore chat, and he said that the Patriots would be a perfect team to take Stetson Bennett. I don't think they do because they already took Bailey Zappi. You know what I'm saying? So the Patriots, then you look at, Ziegler and you look at Josh McDaniels. I can definitely see a winner, a leader in Stetson Bennett being drafted in the later rounds. I'm not against that at all. Let me get this weird dude out of here. We don't do Chiefs over here, homie. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Appreciate y'all. Wipe them feet. Hit them thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please hit that subscribe button. Yeah, Chris, he's 5'11". There you go. There you go. But I like Bennett. He's a leader. He's a leader. I don't know if that's going to translate to the next level. I think maybe he could be a really good backup. But you never know. You get the right coaching staff around him, and who's to say? I mean, look, Tom Brady's a 6th-round pick out of Michigan, and he wasn't supposed to be shit, and then he ended up being the greatest quarterback of all time. So I don't know. But I'm not against bringing him in. Shout out to Mr. Roy. Pick up Brady Dox and ride with Stiddy as a backup. Me, personally, my brother, that's where I'm going. That's where I'm leaning. And move up and get Caleb Williams in 2024 and build our defense this year. Shout out to my boy, Mr. Roy. It's not going to be easy to move up for Caleb Williams, my brother. There's going to be teams this season that are definitely just going to shit the bed to go get Caleb Williams in the next year's draft. You guys, we are not an option for Caleb Williams. If we are, that means that our coaching staff is getting fired. Our GM is getting fired. That probably means that our veterans, Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, all these guys are going to want to go elsewhere because they want to win. They're in the, twilight of their careers. You know what I mean? They're trying to win now. Not twilight yet, but you know what I mean? In the prime of their careers. If we're in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes, there's a problem. Everybody probably wants to move on. But I'm telling you now, Roy, there's going to be so many teams tanking to get Caleb Williams service because a lot of people are saying that he could be potentially the next Patrick Mahomes, and a lot of people are going to ride that wave. I do like Caleb Williams. Don't get me wrong. Fan of him. I don't know if that's going to translate to the next level, but hey, I just don't look, if we're anywhere near, first of all, too, I don't want to trade up to get Caleb Williams because hopefully we're on the back end of the first round and we don't have what it takes to move up to get Caleb Williams. You know what I mean? Shout out to my boy, Mr. Roy, man. Hey, Dominique 5, I appreciate you, brother. Shout out to you, man. Hey, if you the GOAT, what do you think about Dorian Thompson-Robinson? Shout out to T-Ski. I'm not against going out to get him, the young guy out of UCLA in the later rounds. You know what I mean? If this regime trusts to spend a 6th or a 7th round pick on Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I'm not against that. I trust these guys. I trust Zeke. You know what I mean? If Zeke's all in, I'm all in, my brother. To be real, I like Dorian Thompson-Robinson's game out of UCLA. I think he's a dog. Let me see. I'm more sold on May from North Carolina, honestly. Like May too. Yeah. It's crazy to see how things change over one season, right? Last year, there was people talking about potentially bringing in Byron Leftwich as a head coach. He goes back to be an OC under Todd Bowles in Tampa Bay to try and run it back and see what they had. They dealt with a lot of injuries out there on the offense and defensive side of the ball. And next thing you know, Byron Leftwich is out of there. It sucks, man. You never want to see anybody lose their job, but I'm going to be real with you. That offense was terrible this year. Like I said, one-dimensional was hell. All they could do was throw the ball. That was it. I mean, you could look at some of these stats last night. You know what I mean? Godwin, 13 targets, 10 receptions, 85 yards, no TDs. Mike Evans, 11 targets, 6 receptions, 74 yards, no TDs. Julio Jones, who had a great game last year, last night, and a lot of people are not speaking about this either, man. They're talking about Tom Brady potentially retiring. Who's to say that last night wasn't Julio Jones' last game? I don't know. I mean, he's dealt with a lot of injuries. He really didn't play that much this season. He was in and out of the lineup. He has 7 receptions for 74 yards and a touchdown. He spread. Look, Brady is still spreading the ball around at 45 years old. So imagine looking at those stats with those 3 guys and then looking at Waller, looking at Renfro, looking at Josh Jacobs, looking at Devontae Adams, and whoever else we bring in the offseason. Who's to say? Who's to say? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's like, just look at that. Brady's still spreading the ball around at 45 years old. That's crazy. Cameron Ward is good. Oh, so what I found, I think Cameron Ward just declared he's going back to school today. I believe he's going back to school. I think today or yesterday was the last day to declare. CJ Stroud kind of declared last minute that he was leaving Ohio State and going to the NFL draft. Cameron Ward just came out and did the same thing. Oh, but the total opposite. I'm sorry. He went back to school. But if you're talking about potentially looking at him next year, I think it was smart for him to go back, build up some more film, try and win some more games, and potentially be a higher draft pick in next year's draft. Yeah, the truth. Bucks defense, offense, special teams were all horrible under Bowles. Yeah, and I like Todd Bowles as a defensive coordinator. I like him as a defensive coordinator. But yeah, he was a terrible head coach for that Buccaneers team. That team totally looked different once Bruce Arians left. Definitely looked totally different. Let me see. I like that, Big Shane. TB will be the Brooklyn Bridge of bridge quarterbacks. Old as shit, but still getting the job done. Talk that shit, my brother. Shout out to Zach. Docs, look at Jaren Hall. He's my QB5 in this draft. I like Jaren Hall. I still got to do more homework on him, more film work on him. But I like Jaren Hall from what I've seen. I haven't seen too much out of him, though. But I'm starting to see his name surface a lot more. And that's what happens usually around this time, right? The season's about to end here in a few weeks. You know what I mean? So certain names start to rise up boards. Jaren Hall is definitely a name I'm hearing a lot more. Raiders got, nah, man. No, too much, brother. Too much. It's going to be too much draft capital, brother. Way too much. And way too much money. You're giving up draft capital that we can't afford to because we have too many holes on the defensive side of the ball. And then you're giving up way too much money, $50 million a year, to a quarterback that has missed 10 games in the past 2 seasons. 10 games in the past 2 seasons. He missed 5 last year and 5 this year. He's still very young, but durability is starting to catch up. Lamar Jackson has missed 10 games in the past 2 seasons. That is a reason why, outside of the money, outside of all the draft capital you would have to give up, and outside of me personally think he wouldn't fit this system. You know what I mean? We'd have to build a system around him. But 10 games in the last 2 seasons, that is tough. That is definitely tough. Shout out to the Raider. Bro, if y'all think Brady is washed, then what the fuck is DC? Laugh out loud. Brady just outplayed DC again this year. Brady's not only an upgrade, but he's a lot cheaper than 40 mil. Y'all need to upgrade your Wi-Fi. Laugh out loud. Shout out to my dog, the Raider. Man, I appreciate you, my brother. Shout out to you. As always, King, that's my dog right there. McDaniels can't coach anybody. Well, I'll tell you one person he can coach. He can coach Tom Brady. Lone Wolf. I'll tell you one player he can coach. Tom High Stakes Brady. There's no cap in my rap. That's just real talk. Everybody wipe them feet. Hit them thumbs up if you're not subscribed to the channel yet. Hit that subscribe button. Also, y'all, Oaklosvegas.com. Just got a bunch of new gear in right now, man. Just got my shit in the mail. Shit is lit. Shit is a movie straight out of Oaklosvegas. Go to Oaklosvegas.com. Get your gear, man. Support your boy, man. A lot of people are grabbing it. We're on our way to 1,000 orders, man. It's because of you guys. I appreciate y'all. Let me see. Shout out to Top. People don't want Brady to pay no attention to TB receivers who couldn't catch. Yeah, I mean, Evans had a big drop yesterday. O-line that couldn't block, kick returners who fumble, corners who couldn't cover. TB can still play. This is facts. Factory. Let me see. Okay, Raider Rich, let's do this. Since you said that was Belichick, right? Since Josh left, Has Bill Belichick won anything? Since Josh McDaniels left last season, has New England had one of the worst offenses in the league? So if that was Belichick, why is he struggling without Josh McDaniels? Can you give me an answer? I just want an answer, bro. No? Okay. Shout out to you, man. Raider Rich, you know I love you too, bro. No, man, we're working on it, my brother. I will make sure to keep you in the loop. I got you, King. We're working on getting out to Kansas City and doing some dope shit. I will keep you in the loop, my brother. When? Took his team to the playoffs? When? Not this year. You mean last year when Josh McDaniels was there and got Mac Jones to the Pro Bowl? I just don't understand that narrative, man. That shit is hilarious to me. Whoever wants Brady is not a Raider. So let me ask you this, Tribal Chief. You would rather trade a slew of number one picks, first round picks to Green Bay to go get Aaron Rodgers at his age too and pay him $50 million a season? Come on, man. Daniel, it's not. They're not Raider fans. They're not Raider fans. You know what? I can't say that because I can't tell anybody how to be a Raider, right? You Raider how you Raider. I'm a Raider how I Raider. You know what I mean? And simple and plain, bro, that made no fucking sense. Let me see. Yeah, Herman, and then be the same thing, right? Cry about the defense. Go spend $50 million a season for Aaron Rodgers. Give up a bunch of draft capital to not be able to build up the defense, and then hear the same moans and complaints. Just win Brady. I mean, just win baby. Let me see. Yeah, John, this is facts. You would have to pay Rodgers and gut the team to acquire him. Facts, bro. Facts. It's too much, man. At the end of the day, if it's not Brady, if it's not Jimmy G, you're bringing Stidham back. You're going to go draft a young guy, and then maybe some of your veterans are going to be pissed. You know what I mean? That's why I think, that Josh McDaniels and David Ziegler are at Tom Brady's doorstep right now in costumes where you can't see their faces. They're walking in with the Illuminati robes and shit. You know what I mean? And they're like, "What's up, man? You coming home?" No, it won't. And Frank, I want that. See, that's the problem, right? That's the problem, Frank, that we have in the nation. I want the expectations to be that high. You know what I mean? They were high this season. You know what I mean? Why are we okay with a coach and a GM buying more time? No, the expectation should be here. If Tom Brady comes in and everyone expects us to win a Super Bowl, ain't that where we need to be? Ain't that where we need to be? I want to expect to get to the Super Bowl and the playoffs year in and year out. I don't want to be, let's just buy some time for no. Let me see. Facts. This is facts. Hey, big head, you know that text message happened. You know it. Yeah, Dom, expectations should be high every year. You know what I mean? I just, look, you guys, you know what washed is? Washed is Cam Newton when he got the surgery on his shoulder, I believe, and not being able to find an actual job now because he can't throw the ball anymore. Injury after injury. That's washed. Tom Brady is healthy year in and year out, even with the team that he dealt with this season. No O-line, no run game, still healthy as fuck. That's not washed. A washed quarterback throwing 4,700 yards passing, that's not washed. Washed is Phillip Rivers with the Colts. Everybody said Brady was washed the last year he was in New England when he threw that pick to the Tennessee Titans on the last play ever as a Patriot. Everyone said he was washed. Then what did he do? Went to Tampa Bay and won a Super Bowl. It's not washed, man. I guess our definitions of washed may be a little different. Shout out to KC. Invest in the D, no quick fix, not sold on Brady. Hey, to each his own, man. Shout out to KC, to each his own. I definitely believe to invest in the defense. This is facts. But look, then what? What is your option at quarterback? KC, let me know, my brother. If you're not sold on Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, who still led a bad Tampa Bay Buccaneers team to the playoffs, then who are you sold on? Let me know in the comment section. I want to know. Shout out to Tools, man. Willie Brown and Alzado were Broncos. Gannon a Chief. LaMonica a Bill. Al Davis always coveted other teams' best players and one of them on this team. Plunkett. Plunkett, Tools, Patriot. That is the Raider way. There you go. There you go. Shout to the Tools. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, King. Longy, that's what I'm waiting on. That's what I'm actually waiting on. I want to see what plan B is because I don't know what these guys are thinking behind the scenes, right? They have to have a bunch of different plans because if Brady doesn't come in, if Brady decides to retire, I think that derails everything that Josh McDaniels and Ziegler have planned. So I'm hoping that they have another plan. I'm hoping and praying that they got a couple plans, right? Jimmy G can't stay healthy. Year in and year out, he's getting hurt. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's a realistic option. You know what I mean? The worst thing in the world is you end up with, I don't know. I mean, you know, I want Stidham back, but I want him back as a backup. You know what I mean? Look, I think there really isn't a backup plan. I don't know what their backup plan is. You know what I mean? But hey, we shall see. I just know if you go draft a quarterback, I don't know if it's not one of these Strouds or Youngs. I don't know how that affects the Devontae Adams, the Darren Wallers of the world. You know what I mean? I don't know if Josh Jacobs says, you know what, I'll come back. You know what I'm saying? Whether, you know, we can franchise him, it doesn't even matter. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Shout out to Raiders. Washed Brady over Carr. Shout out to my dog, man. Appreciate you, King. Brady's press conference last night confirmed to me he's not retiring. Yeah. Man, my man's had the all black on, all black hoodie, all black hat to the back. Amen. Amen. Let me see. Shout out to Elite Med Staffing. Ideal scenario. TB12 is the bridge quarterback. I agree. Steady the backup. I agree. And drafted young quarterback. I agree, Elite. That is what I've been preaching all season, all season long, and all off season. Once I knew we were moving on from Derek Carr, bringing Brady, keep Stidham around. He'll be cheap. You know, he didn't do enough in that Chiefs game for any team to go out there and spend a lot of cash on bringing Stidham and think he's going to be the guy. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. If he replicated what he did to the Niners his first week against KC, we may be having a different conversation. But Stidham didn't do enough in that last game of the season. I think we can bring him back on the cheap and draft a young guy. Factory outlet. Shout out to my brother Maul, man. Brady washed, but number 4 was in his prime looking terrible. Y'all killing me. Just doesn't make any sense, Maul. They really don't, King. I don't get it. I really don't. I truly don't understand. But, you know, we here, man. We here. We are here. Let me see. Shout out to Javier. Yep. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. All the chips are on Tom Brady. That's what I feel like at this point, where it is. Let me see. Shout out to everybody here in the building commenting, man. The comment section is flying. I appreciate you guys. We're about 700 people deep in the chat. I appreciate y'all, man. Wipe them feet, y'all. Hit them thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, hit that subscribe button, man. I appreciate you all. If you want to become a member of the channel, hit the link. It's pinned up top. If you want to go get some Oaklosvegas drip, go to Oaklosvegas.com. Shout out to my brother Big Mike in the building. Let me see. This is facts, Franklin. You know Dana White is already sitting down with him at the craps table right now. Factory outlet. Herbert, Mahomes, and Russell scared of Brady. I think they should. They should. You playing against the greatest quarterback of all time. You should. Twice a year. The thing is, people keep forgetting that Brady brings talent with him. That Tampa Bay team would have never won a championship without Tom Brady. The talent wouldn't have been there. You know, he's the one that brought Antonio Brown down there. He's the one that brought Gronk down there. He was the one that probably a lot of those defenders took hometown deals to stay because they believed in winning championships with their quarterback. Brady brings just so much more, you guys, than just his game. He brings value. He brings his reputation. He brings that dog. He just brings everything. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is. I mean, he don't bring mobility. I'll tell you that. That's one thing I'm not expecting Brady to do. He ain't running nowhere. Real shit. Yeah, Brady brings the monsters with him. This is facts. Sure, exactly. O-line was missing 3 starters, and they just got one back yesterday at center. Yeah, man. Look, you guys, I've never been a Raider fan that was asking for Tom Brady to be a Raider, right? I was just like everybody else. Fuck him. Don't want him here. You know, tuck rule this, tuck rule that, blase blah, right? I get it. I understand. But when you're starting to see that Mark Davis flirted with the idea last year, he was sitting at a UFC event with him. They've been spotted all over Vegas together. You know what I'm saying? Gruden denying bringing in, you know, saying denying the opportunity to bring in Brady and Gronk. I mean, then you got these guys to come in that I think Mark Davis did definitely think about Tom Brady in the future. Like, if Derek Carr isn't the guy, guess what? I got 2 guys that can probably bring the GOAT in. I'm just setting myself up for, I think, which is pretty much the inevitable, that if he doesn't retire, I believe he'll be a Raider. You know what I mean? Simple as that. I'm not out here. Everybody thinks I'm just out here screaming for Tom Brady and this and that. I'm just talking about what is really out there right now. It just looks like the writing is on a wall and that everything fits under that. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. Y'all can never find a video on my channel up until the past month, 2 months, where I've ever spoken about bringing in Tom Brady as a Raider. I've never done it. I've never done it. But now it looks like it's a possibility, and I'm cool with it. Shout out to the Raider. 4,700 yards passing. Brady's season this year is what really looks like when your quarterback is not the problem. Great quarterbacks are great no matter the circumstances. Say that shit again for the back, man. Say that shit again for the people in the back, the Raider. Bring in Brady. Raiders, baby. Talk that shit, Mike. Talk it. Talk. Let me see. Let me see. Shout out to everybody here in the building, man. Are we making excuses for Brady like we did for Carr? Injuries, O-line, etc. I wouldn't make any excuses for Tom Brady. I never made an excuse for Derek Carr. I just thought he wasn't the guy to take us to the next level. Tom Brady, there's a reason he has 7 rings. There doesn't need to be any excuses. But at the end of the day, he still had a hell of a year statistically, right? Look, I can give DC a comment right now, a compliment right now. Last season, the first 3 games, we couldn't run the ball for shit. O-line looked terrible. Andre James was snapping the ball over Derek Carr's head. And guess what? Derek Carr looked like an MVP those first 3 weeks of the NFL. I can give him a compliment. And then it just all went all downhill from there. Let me see. How am I backtracking? Some of y'all crazy, man. Shout out to Maul. Last time the Raiders brought in a GOAT at his position, what happened? We went to the Super Bowl. And I'm not going to say Rich Gannon is a GOAT. Not at all. I think that he was okay with the Chiefs. You know, he was once a Minnesota Viking. I'm not going to call him a GOAT, but I will say that he will go down as a top 5 Raiders quarterback of all time. You know what I mean? With Snake and Plunkett, you know what I mean? LaMonica, DC, Gannon, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely can say that he's a top 5 GOATed quarterback for the Raiders. But at the end of the day, look, man, this is the true GOAT. We're not talking about just Raider quarterbacks. We're talking about the greatest quarterback of all time. Shout out to my brother Maul. Shout out to O. Out of subject. What did man? I don't want to talk about that right now. Oh, you know what? Me and Stu are about to do a show here this week. Me and Stu will talk about it because me and Stu never really got the opportunity to speak about it on live. So I'll talk about the whole Warren Sapp situation with Stu. That's his man's. And I definitely want to get at Stu about that. Shout out to O. I didn't know what Mitch said. What did Mitch say? Mitch was definitely there with me. Shout out to John. When reality smacks you in the face like this year's record, it's time to throw all the feelings out the window and just win, baby. Shout out to my dog, John, man. Haymaker. Shout out to my boy, John. Shout out to Raider for life. Sign Brady, resign Stidham, draft Richardson, build defense and offensive lines. Last option, sign Uncle Rico and Stidham battle for starting quarterback. Oh, it's about Jerry Rice. You talking about Jerry Rice? Okay, got you. Got you. That's who you were talking about, Maul. You weren't talking about Rich Gannon. You were talking about Jerry Rice. Got you. Got you. Got you. Got you. Got you. Then you're, hey, facts. That's facts. Facts. My bad, y'all. My bad, y'all. Look, man. Look, I just got out the gym. Okay. My pre-workout got me like this. All right. My apologies. Shout out to my brother Maul. Now I know what you were saying, bro. I thought you meant Rich Gannon was a GOAT. I'm like, oh shit. Had to pump the brakes on that one, Grasshopper. Shout out to Maul, man. Shout out to John Doe. What up, Docs? With Tom Brady possibly coming, how do you feel about Hendon Hooker? I am all for that, John Doe. I would love that. I would love to go get Hendon Hooker. For those who don't know, I think he'd be 25, 26 years old when the draft happens, 26. You know, he's coming off a torn ACL, so he can spend all that time healing up while the GOAT is playing quarterback. I am all for that. To me personally, that is the wave that I want to go. That's the wave I want to ride. Go find Hendon Hooker in the 3rd or 4th if he's still there out of Tennessee and go grab him. I think Hendon Hooker will learn a lot under Tom Brady. Shout out to my dog, John Doe. Let me see. I know, Big Mike, it's just never going to change, bro. It's never going to change, bro. It's never going to change, my brother. Shout out to Big Boy. Salute, Doc. Saw your thumbnail on the Oaklosvegas merch. I appreciate you, man. My dog, my dog. If you guys are in Vegas, hit me up. I'll be out there for the Pro Bowl. Me and Hammer will be out there rocking with Cody, rocking with Samoan, rocking with my brother Fitz. You know what I mean? Mr. Fitz, my dog. There's going to be a lot of us out there. My brother Fingers, B going to be out there. We're going to be out there deep. So make sure you pull up on us in Las Vegas. We're going to have a ball for the Pro Bowl. Terry Gunn, I can definitely answer that, my brother. If we get Brady and don't make the playoffs, then what? Then we shit the bed. Then we shit the bed. Then guess what happens? Josh McDaniels is gone. David Ziegler probably loses his job. And we got to figure it all out again. That's it. I don't know a world where it'd be acceptable to go get Tom Brady and not make the playoffs. You know what I mean? So at that point, hey, Josh McDaniels, motherfucker, you got to go. David Ziegler, you might have to go too. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think if you bring in Brady and don't go to the playoffs, the writing is on the wall at that point. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you sold a bunch of jerseys. Yeah, you probably sold a bunch of tickets. Mark Davis definitely lined his pockets up. But at the end of the day, if you don't win with him, I think everybody got to go. Everybody got to go. I just don't see a world where you can not win with Brady. I mean, when was the last time he didn't make the playoffs? Has he ever not made the playoffs? I mean, shit, it's been forever. Forever. You know what I mean? All right, we could do these what ifs all day. The thing is, Tom Brady's always healthy. You know what I mean? Outside of what? I think he tore his ACL years back, right? When Jimmy G finally got his chance. I think it was his torn ACL, right? But the dude is durable. He's 45 years old and still don't get hurt. You know what I mean? So, you know, I feel with him, I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm not worried about him being hurt. Just like I was never really worried about Derek Carr getting hurt. He's very durable. You know what I mean? He dealt with some injuries, back, rib, but he still played through them. So, you know, Dominique, we will work on the defense, brother. We're definitely going to work on the defense. You know what I mean? We have a full draft, and we still have not seen the comp picks yet, you guys. I think there's still going to be some some more compensation, more draft picks from potentially Nicholas Morrow, Marcus Mariota. There's several players that moved on that we could potentially still get compensation, comp picks for. So I'm still waiting on that. And then there's other guys out there like Edmonds from Buffalo that you could potentially bring in a linebacker. The Stephon Gilmores of the world, Colts. He may want to move on and start winning now. You know what I mean? Who's to say he doesn't think the Raiders can do that? You know what I mean? If we brought Brady in, you don't think Gilmore would be like, oh, I want to play with him again? You know what I mean? Shit, they won championships together. You know what I'm saying? So if you bring Brady in, he says, hey, Stephon Gilmore, man, you want to come to Vegas and win a championship with me? What do you think Gilmore's going to say? I'll be right there. No state tax? Play with the GOAT again? I'll be right there. People ain't talking about that. Shit, you bring in Tom Brady, you might be able to get the Gilmores of the world. You know how happy Chandler Jones would be? I hate when people are like, Brady doesn't want to join AFC West and play Mahomes, Herbert twice a year. Like, that man is psycho for winning. Man, he don't care. Why? That's why he's the GOAT and has 7 of them things. 7 of them things. Black Sunday. 7 of them shits. That's crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of, shout out to Black Sunday once again, my brother. I appreciate you. Shout out to Jacob. There's a lot of talk. Did you guys see that with Aaron Donald? He took off in his description on Twitter, in his bio, he took off Rams defensive tackle, or he put like former defensive tackle. Then he changed it back. He's kind of playing the game right now. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's planning on moving on. I know Sean McVay will be back now. So maybe maybe Aaron Donald says, you know what, I'm coming back regardless. In which I do think he will. There's too much money to pass up. There's way too much money. But that was kind of weird. And I'm still waiting to see if the Rams want to move on from Jalen Ramsey. They're going to have to free up some type of cap space to make some kind of moves. I'm just hoping and praying that Jalen Ramsey is a guy that we can look at in free agency, man. You know what I mean? But the thing is, you can bring in a Gilmore. You can bring in a Marcus Peters. They're free agents. You don't have to pay draft capital. You don't have to pay Jalen Ramsey all that money, because I think if the Rams cut him, isn't like a $17 million? Isn't Jalen Ramsey owed like $17 million? Some shit, some $17 to $20 million. It's a lot of money. So I'm keeping an eye on Marcus Peters, and I'm keeping an eye on Stephon Gilmore. Maybe even James Bradbury, even though I think that he may go back to Philly. That's another Patrick Graham guy from the New York days. Shout out to Sean Kelder. I appreciate you on the donation, fam. Appreciate you, King. As always, my brother, man. Wipe them feet, y'all. Hit them thumbs up if you're not subscribed to the channel yet. Hit that subscribe button, man. Let me see. Spitting fire. You know what, bro? Get a channel, right? Get a channel. Let me show you how to do this real quick, bro. My brother, and I got love for spitting. Create an email, right? Go to youtube.com, create a YouTube channel, right? Put a default picture up there. Think of a solid name, you know what I mean, that you think represents you, right? And then you do a video about how much you feel like Tom Brady is washed up. Send it to me. I'll watch it. But until you get a platform, my brother, I'm going to talk my shit. Shout out to you, man. A lot of them shits. Shout out to Big Mike, man. But yeah, I wanted to go live, you guys, talk about this narrative of Tom Brady being washed. The guy, like I said before, threw the ball 66 times last night. Still threw for over 300 yards. He had more passing yards than Dak. And Dak had 5 touchdowns, 4 in the air, 1 on the ground. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. How can you do that? I don't understand the narrative of he's washed. Is he? Okay, let me ask y'all this: is he washed because he's not winning the Super Bowl? That's the only thing that's the only way I can see you guys fighting this narrative, because he's won 7 of them, right? He's won 7 of them, so he's just expected to win them. Is that what it is? Is he washed because he's not winning championships right now? This is the first time in his career he's went 2 years in a row, I believe, where he hasn't won a Super Bowl. That's crazy. 2 years in a row, first time in forever that this has happened. Hey, I will take a washed 45-year-old that had to throw the ball 66 times all damn day over what we got right now. As always, thanks for the content, man. Shout out to Brandon. I appreciate you, my brother. As always, King. Shout out to Black Sunday. Real quick, we've always had this connect with Patriots. Al Davis almost had Belichick instead of Gruden. Now his son has brought in Belichick's coach and GM. Talk that shit, Black Sunday. Shout out to my dog. But you guys, Brady is not washed. You're not washed. Anyone that can throw 4,700 yards in the air is not washed. It's not washed. He's not washed. And Eric, that was the first time he threw a pick in the red zone since being with the Buccaneers. He has not thrown a pick in the red zone since he's been a Patriot. Think about that. He's not washed, and I'm all for bringing him in for a year or two and, drafting a young guy and letting him learn under Brady. Simple and plain. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys, man. I might be back tonight. My brother Paul hit me up and said he wants to do a show. Maybe I can get wasted back. My brother's been chilling. He got some other stuff going on. But maybe we'll come back tonight. Maybe if I get a hold of Stu, we'll jump on later on tonight as well. But with that being said, love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Brady is not washed. He is not washed. Hit that sub button on the way out and make sure you wipe them feet, meaning hit them thumbs up on the way out. Sean, I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for the $5, King. I'm outro. 1.